What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ivan Martinez, otherwise known as Mr. Martinez, and today we're going over 4 ways that you could look taller on Instagram. Coming up. What's going on, guys? I have my good friend Nico here. He is my personal photographer, videographer, and basically we're just going to sit down and kind of talk about 4 points that we can do as gentlemen that are a little bit more on the modest end, a little bit shorter, ways that we can look taller in pictures without actually being taller.
So I'm Nicholas. I've been shooting with Ivan for 2 years now, and this is a struggle because we both are kind of short. So we have some tips for you today to look taller in your pictures.
For our first point, we're talking about scalability. So scale means basically that you don't stand or you're not next to something that is taller than you. You can lean against something, but don't take the full frame of the actual whatever light post, something that you're standing against, because then scalably you're going to look like this, whereas a light post is going to look like this. You're going to look short. So don't get into the position where you're going to be looking shorter. This goes at the same time with collabing with somebody that's just taller than you. I have this issue with like Steve all the time. Both of these where me and Steve would be in pictures. If you guys know Steve at Straight Function, definitely go ahead and follow him. But he's a really good friend of mine from Chicago, and basically every time I take pictures with Steve, I look short because Steve is like 6 feet, so then I look short. Nico does a really good job at this. He kind of manages the way that we look, so I'll be a little bit more ahead of Steve, whereas Steve will be a little bit behind me. And I don't know if you could explain that better, of like why that works out for you.
So what I usually do is put Ivan a little bit more in front of the camera, because if you see here, my hand looks bigger even though it's smaller than my head, but there it looks bigger than our heads. So the perspective from where you're shooting changes a lot of how the picture is gonna look.
And that kind of goes into our second point. Our second point is basically just getting closer to the camera. So just by getting closer to the camera, as he just mentioned, if you take a look at my hand is bigger technically than my head because I'm way closer to the camera. So I think that's a very simple thing that you can start doing. It's just basically standing a little bit closer to the camera, and then that way you don't look as short.
Another way that we can solve this problem is just having the taller person sit down. So Ivan would be standing up and then Steve will be seated. That way you both are at the same level and the picture just looks more cohesive. So what's in the picture is as important as where you take the picture from. So if you want to take a picture of Ivan, you wouldn't be looking down at him. They use that a lot in cinema to make people look weaker, look shorter. If you want to demonstrate power, or you want to make somebody look more important or taller in your pictures, in your video or whatever, just shoot it from below. That way it will appear taller or bigger to the camera and an overall picture.
Number 4, I'm gonna go ahead and touch on this one, is the fit of your clothing. So unfortunately, guys, even if you do all the last 3 steps, if your clothes don't fit and it's all baggy and your pants are just not tailored or anything like that, you're still going to look short no matter what angle you get. So you have to have clothes that actually fit you, especially if you're on the shorter end, guys. I mean, that's probably one of the most important things. Have things that fit in your wardrobe, and then that way it's easier for a videographer or a photographer to get pictures of you. So definitely make sure that your clothes fit.
If you look good, it just makes my life easier.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So definitely go ahead and check us both out on our social media.
It will be right here.
And we're going to go ahead and leave a bunch of information down in the description below. We'll have all the points down there as well, so you can go ahead and read them. And definitely go ahead and like, subscribe, and share this video. We want to reach a bunch of other guys that are having this issue on IG, or just having video and photography issues, especially on this area. So thanks again, and I value you guys' time, and as always, style up.
There you go.